Hello everybody who is watching this video somehow in the infinite tentacles of the internet. You have somehow found this video, and I appreciate that. On this video I want to talk about my love for tarot, which was cultivated about 2 years ago. I read a book by Robert Anton Wilson, and I don't even know if that book explicitly mentions tarot. I think probably it does, but I love Robert Anton Wilson. I had heard about Cosmic Trigger several times before and heard it was a powerful book, and then the book gods finally led me to it about 2 years ago, and I read it, and he's the type of writer who makes you feel like he makes you feel deep within your bones how weird and mysterious reality is. And it's almost like he almost puts you in an altered state of consciousness when you read his books, which I think he was conscious of that, and he talked about that. Similar to Terence McKenna's book, True Hallucinations. That book also puts me in an altered state of consciousness, as well as the book called The Third Policeman. Can't remember that Irish author's name. I don't want to butcher it. Third Policeman. Go check it out. It's a novel. Anyways, Robert Anton Wilson, in his book Cosmic Trigger, the main effect that book had on me, like moving forward after I read it, was this sense of spiritual experimentation, having an experimental spirituality where you stay open and agnostic about the really big questions, but you are also open to the possibility of all sorts of things happening, anything really. So it's a very curious, playful form of agnosticism, I guess. But when you do the experiment, you're kind of playing around with the power of belief too, which is similar to chaos magic, which I might talk about in another video. But chaos magic and Robert Anton Wilson definitely overlap. And I think he was tight with some of the early chaos magicians. Maybe he would even consider himself a chaos magician. I'm not sure. Anyways, this whole notion of like the power of belief and like experimenting with different lenses and different rituals and different symbols and then just kind of seeing what happens. It's almost like a subjective, spiritual / scientific experiment that you're doing on yourself in the laboratory of your own direct experience. So anyways, I got into tarot mainly as a form of experimentation, and I wanted to just dive in to see what it had to offer for me. And I read a bunch of books about it. I would do readings for myself. I would study the cards. Mainly the Rider-Waite-Smith deck is the one that I've looked at the most, read about the most, thought about the most, but I have a few other decks. My other favorite deck is the Mother Peace deck. Maybe I'll do another video about that someday. But anyways, I started a tarot series of episodes on my podcast, The Infinite Weird, but they were all audio podcasts, and now I've been shifting to YouTube mainly. I plan to put this... I'm going to probably just put this on YouTube. But it's a continuation of my tarot series. And I've done episodes I'm going to do episodes on all the major arcana. People pronounce that differently. I never know exactly which pronunciation I want to use. But yeah, I did an episode on the Fool card. I did an episode on the Magician card. So that's card 0. That's card 1. Card 2, which is the High Priestess. I did an episode on that. Card 3, the Empress. I did an episode on that. Card 4, the Emperor. I did an episode on that. Card 5, the Hierophant. I did an episode on that. Card 6, the Lover's card. Did an episode on that. And what kind of triggered this whole tarot series of episodes actually was an episode of a weird story that, it's a personal story that happened to me that deals with the Chariot card. But you know what? I'm going to make a whole different episode on that. Because this is not where that story needs to be, I don't think. So check it out. I did an episode on all those cards. Now, the next card in the deck after card 7, the Chariot card, is the Strength card. The Strength card. The Strength card. It's a beautiful card. It's a beautiful, beautiful card. This woman, reminiscent of the Empress, kind of, with all the flowers and plant stuff in her hair and outfit. Reminiscent of the Magician card because she has the infinity symbol over her head. And as far as I can remember, the Magician card and the Strength card here are the only two cards where the figures in the cards have the infinity symbol over their head. The Magician card is number 1, so that's like the first step in the first leg of the journey for the Major Arcana. And then this is card 8. And if we think about the majors broken into 3 sets of 7, with the Fool card as card 0, so it's standing kind of to the side. The Magician card has an infinity symbol. The figure, the magician, on the Magician card has the infinity symbol over his head, and he's step number 1 in the first leg of the journey. And then the Strength card is step number 1 in the second leg of the journey, and she also has the infinity symbol over her head. And to me, it kind of represents this boost of energy, this influx of infinity that fuels these characters and us, because we are them. And this is just a symbol of the archetypal journey that all of us go through in our lives, that has different features and individual aspects, of course, and idiosyncratic dimensions because of our own individuality. However, it is archetypal in the sense that we all go through similar or resonant patterns and obstacles and tests and revelations and insights and those sorts of things. And so in the archetypal journey here, after the protagonist has reached the Chariot card and kind of has reached this kind of authentic, grounded, empowered, I would say that the Chariot card is very empowered, a lot of balance between the masculine and the feminine, a lot of action in the world vibes in the Chariot card, like taking the chariot into the world or into action. And you got the yin and the yang, the sphinxes that are guiding kind of the chariot, but the sphinxes don't have reins on them, so they're just kind of going on the Tao or the natural rhythm. And therefore the charioteer is also, has this balance of will and intuition. But when you get to the Strength card, you have this woman here. She has this lion. And the lion represents strength, I think. The lion represents the animalness within us, passions, instincts, fears even, just like really unbridled energy, that sort of animalness, rowdiness, wildness, and this character it seems like the lion is kind of her partner, her friend, her pet even. And she seems to be closing the lion's mouth. I know some people, I think Manly P. Hall said that she's opening the lion's mouth, and that brings up all sorts of different interpretations, but I'm just going to stick with the notion that she's closing the lion's mouth. And so, I get the impression of making friends with the lion inside of us, whether that's courage and fearlessness and strength, or whether that's, our animal passions and energy, unbridled energy and wildness inside of us. And obviously that looks different for each one of us, but, it just takes the individual to investigate that for themselves and figure out what that means in their own lives. But whatever that means in any given individual's life, it's like, instead of suppressing the lion inside of us, and instead of letting the lion inside of us just go completely chaotic without any sort of intention or mindfulness, those two extremes can be dangerous, can cause suffering. And I feel like this card is kind of integrating the lion inside of us and, making friends with it and using it wisely and utilizing the energy of it and the power of it and the strength of it for constructive purposes. I guess we could also think about this as like the monkey mind in a way, right? In Buddhism, like the monkey mind, we all know what that is, really. If you sit down and try to meditate, if you sit down and become aware of your own thoughts and your own inner activity, you quickly realize that your mind is restless and thoughts are bouncing all over the place, and that is the monkey mind. And so to kind of make friends with that and to see that and to maybe tame that is a good idea. But it's still there, and we got to use the reality of it and the energy of it for in healthy ways. So those are a few ways we could look at this card. Another last note I will say here is that this card comes before the Hermit card, which is the one we'll see next. And, I'll talk obviously more about that when we get there. But I would say that this card also represents this life-giving power that allows us to be confident as we move into the hermit phase or the hermit stage or the hermit part of the journey, which is going down in the basement and looking at all the stuff. This is my interpretation of the hermit. Going off in the basement, looking at the stuff that's been overlooked, unboxing the shadow material with our own lantern and shining light on it and making sense of it and clearing it out and cleaning it out and getting rid of the stuff that doesn't need to be there, and maybe polishing the stuff that does need to be there, and sweeping the floors and taking off the cobwebs and cleaning the windows, getting the funk out of there, but also using the funk. So that's the strength card. It's a great card. I think I'll stop there for today. I don't want to make videos that are too long. So I hope you enjoyed. Take care of yourselves. Peace.